Very good morning, guys. What's poppin' YouTube? Welcome back to Brother Vlogs. I hope you guys really liked the Q&A session which happened regarding aviation in the previous video. This is just a continuation to that. Although I've answered all the questions yesterday, the video was getting too long. So we've basically broken the video into two parts. So after I speak now, we'll get back into the question and answers. So watch both the videos, especially if people are into aviation or interested in aviation. If you find anything which is very relevant to you, especially if you're going for your pilot training or interested in doing it, please do comment in the section below, in the comment section, and or else you can actually contact either me on my Instagram handle, which is Rohit Bharadwaj, or on Two Brother Vlogs, and we'll try and resolve or answer your queries. And without any further ado, before we get into the video, I would again like to tell you guys that we have a 12% discount running on our merchandise, which is at Dress Up Homie. Do check out our store, it will be great, and we actually thank each and every one of you for your great support and your warm wishes when it comes to Dress Up Homie. So we'll continue with the question and answers, and then we'll talk to you once we are done with it.
Which is more easier, night flying or day flying?
It's a very, very good question, whoever has asked that. I personally feel flying in the night is much easier because this is again talking as a passenger perspective. Night, there's hardly any turbulence which is caused by thermals. So, especially if somebody's flying in this time of the year, the summers in India, especially in the drier regions, you'll have a lot of bumpiness until about 10,000, 11,000 feet. That is majorly caused because of the heating of the ground. The ground heats up, hot air rises, and that causes a lot of disturbance in the air. And so you can observe this whenever you come in for landing or during your takeoff. Your air बहुत हिलता है, दर in the daytime. Night को there's no direct sunlight dropping in, so the heat kind of dissipates. It is much smoother. I prefer night flying over day flying any day.
What is the ROI in becoming a pilot, and is it easy to bag a job after the flight school?
India, we have a lot of competition. No job is easy. No good paying or well paying job is easy to find. Similarly in aviation, if you work hard, there is scope. If you don't work hard, there is no job. Simple solution. ROI, once you get a job, you'll make it back pretty quickly.
So I'll club two questions. First thing, does the ATR have reverse thrust? Second question, do you burn any fuel while taxiing?
A lot of fuel while taxiing, obviously. The engines are on, so obviously you burn fuel, no? So, and regarding reverse thrust, as far as my knowledge goes, all commercial aircrafts have reverse thrust. There is a different way of reverse thrust. There are different mechanisms for a turboprop compared to a jet engine. And turboprop, basically you see the propellers here, the angle of the propeller changes. We can change the angle of the propeller. So instead of pushing the air backwards, the angle changes to push it forward. So basically that helps in reversing the blade angle, it's called, and that produces a reverse thrust. So reverse thrust is there on all aircrafts. And there was a similar question, can the aircraft go reverse? Technically yes. Have I done it? Yes. But is it advisable? No. Only under emergency situations we do it, because it kind of reduces the engine life. Only in emergency situations, like let's say I'm going to some station, a remote station, and there is no pushback truck or something out, if the pushback truck is broken or whatever, and if I have no other option, we do that kind of a situation. It is more easier to do it on the turboprops than the turbofans, but even they can, but they don't. They don't at all. Turboprops do it at times in of emergencies.
How many hours can a pilot fly in a week, in a month, in a day? The max limit.
So in a day, it's a little difficult to answer. It will depend on the number of landings. More landings, less number of hours. In a week, it is 35 hours. In a month, it is 100 hours. In a year, it's 1000 hours. And continuing to that question, if somebody does close to that 85, 90 hours in a month, not 100, I'm talking about 85 to 90 hours a month, that person will not know when he slept, when he woke up, what he is doing when he wakes up. He'll be lost. That is the amount of stress we go through.
What is the best destination you have reached or landed in?
You see this? This is actually an Alliance Air aircraft, the company I work for. And look at how beautiful that is. This is Agati. And it is one of the most trickiest airports to land in because it's very small. And it is the most beautiful place I have been to in my entire life as well.
Can you legally dump fuel?
Yes and no. Okay, this is a very, very, very nice question. Okay, first I'll answer, can all aircrafts dump fuel? Answer is no. Only wide body aircrafts which actually travel intercontinental distances, they are capable of dumping fuel. This is an image of an aircraft actually dumping fuel. You're not allowed to dump fuel on land. So that is a no. On sea, yes, in case of an emergency. Why is the question, right? Why do you have to dump fuel? So the major reason, let's say if some major catastrophe happens, let's say there's a fire on board or something and there is no other option but to land immediately or almost a few hours after takeoff in such long haul flights. Uh, all these big aircrafts, their takeoff weight is substantially more than their maximum landing weight which the aircraft can land at. So to land back quickly, the only option for them is to dump fuel. Most of the aircrafts, most of them, now good high percentage of them have a higher takeoff weight than the landing weight. So let's say an Airbus 320, an ATR, all these, in case they have to burn fuel, you basically hold around the airport, burn up the fuel, come back and land. Bigger aircraft have that opportunity, but you're not allowed to dump fuel on land, only in sea.
The question is right there on your screen. What happens if there's a medical emergency in flight? My question is to the passengers, and what if it happens to the pilot as well?
Very apt question, right? Anybody can fall sick at any time. And okay, this might be a little hard for a few to digest, but cabin crew are not on the aircraft to serve food. Okay, get that thing right into your head. They will be the first attendants for any medical emergency in a flight. Let it be to the pilots, let it be to the passengers. If there is a medical emergency, your cabin crew are trained to handle them. And they do a bloody good job at it because they go through intense training to make sure you survive. And we as pilots, if there's a medical emergency to a passenger, what we do is we get you to the ground at the fastest possible at the nearest airport. But handling the passenger who is sick is taken care by the cabin crew solely.
Okay, now what is the hierarchy here?
So when you join an airline, you'll be called as a cadet pilot or junior first. Basically, it's called a cadet pilot, and you'll be basically with 2 bars. And once you're released as a first officer on the airline, you'll be getting 3 stripes. Few airlines they continue with 2 stripes until you gain about 1,000 hours of experience, namely Indigo. After that, you'll be called a senior first officer. Then there were 3 stripes. And after getting 3 stripes, you gain a lot of experience, you write your exams, and then after that, eventually, and then when they come, you'll have to go through a lot of interviews and a lot of process. And then eventually, the final stage is the captain. That is the highest position. He's the head of the ship or head of the aircraft, whatever you want to call, and that is the highest position. So, this is another question. Let's say, like, I'm a captain on an ATR. Let's say if I shift to another aircraft, will I be joining as a first officer or cadet? No. Once a captain, always a captain.
Is there any other post higher than the captain?
Yes, but it will be not known to the general public because again, वो क्या होता है basically? Let's say somebody in this position with 2 bars joins the company. He has to be trained on the aircraft. So there'll be somebody who has to train him. So for physically looking, it will be looking only 4 bars, but internal positions होते हैं. They become trainers, they become examiners and all stuff. But that's with experience. But for a normal person to look at, it's just these 3 ranks. But internally, yes, they might hold a higher position than a captain, like a trainer.
The max age that you can become a pilot, and companies will recruit you.
So the minimum age to get a commercial pilot CPL is 18. You have to be 18. That's the minimum age. Anything beyond that is fine. Companies do recruit you until the age of about 35, 36. On the higher side, I've seen advertisements up till the age of 40 as well. But I would say 35 is the upper limit when somebody takes a freshman who's just holding a CPL without any experience. 35 on the higher side. Anybody younger than that, who are in late 20s, early 30s, can still go for their pilot training. People are asking, are there openings coming up in the near future? Market is actually, rest of India or rest of the world has kind of recovered from the COVID crisis. Aviation is still in that. We're still looming through the pay cut phase of our lives. but there is much brighter future coming up, near future. Regarding openings for freshers, as we speak, multiple airlines are having, including the airline I work for, Reliance Air, is having an opening for ATR rated freshmen. So every Thursday we are having an interview for them. So if anybody who's seeing this video is ATR rated for searching for a job, go to Alliance Air. You might get a job for yourself.
Do you give an alcohol test before going on any flight?
Every flight.
Every flight.
Every flight.
And let's say a pilot gets.
As in not every sector, but every day. Yes, before our flight, every day. Then we go flying.
So, let's say one pilot or one captain or first officer is has taken too much of alcohol, and what happens if he gets tested?
So first time you get caught positive, you're suspended for 3 months. Second time you get positive, you're suspended for 3 years. And then the next time, lifetime ban.
Ban.
Acha, ban.
So how do you navigate in the air? You will not find any roads or maps, or Google Maps will definitely not work. So how do you navigate yourself? Let's say you're going from Hyderabad to Nagpur or beyond. How do you navigate? How do you know where you are, where you have to go, and where the other airport is?
So there are multiple navigation aids. We have GPS. We have something called as a VOR. So VOR is basically a ground-based navigation equipment. So we use multiple things to kind of know where we are. There are also highways in the sky. Aircrafts don't go randomly in any direction. We follow air routes all the time. So that is why, let's say we are going, as Srijan is talking, Hyderabad to Nagpur. Nagpur is exactly north of Hyderabad, but we can't take that straight route because there's a lot of military, where we are staying that is. There's a lot of military airspace to the north of Hyderabad, which extends to quite a distance to the north of, just to the south of Nagpur. So we have to basically go all the way to the east towards Khammam and then go kind of diagonally up towards Nagpur. So there are dedicated airways which help, again, how do you find those airways? Is one GPS, two VORs. So there are multiple ways of navigation which we rely on, not just one. And what you see in this chart, this is basically called an approach chart. So when we're coming in to land at some particular airport, we follow these procedures. I'm not going to explain you what procedures, how do we go about it. I'm not teaching anybody here, I'm just explaining the process. But we use charts like these to navigate for the final stage of the aircraft. Before this, we have charts, again much bigger charts, topographic charts, which we use to navigate.
The question to Dari.
I saw that and I was laughing because I'm surprised at how many people want to know what my salary is. I can't tell you what exactly my salary is. It's a non-disclosure agreement which I have with my company, so I can't disclose my exact salaries. But I am very happy with the salary. I can maintain my bikes, I can maintain my lifestyle. Pilots are paid well. It's a handsome paying job, and more than that, I am not at liberty to tell. And come on yaar, paise nahi hai to kaun karta काम? Simple logic. And another thing, stop asking other salaries here. Wrap on our session when it comes to the question and answers. Hope you guys liked what we did. Basically, these were questions which were asked by you guys to me. There were a few repeated questions. We tried to club a lot of questions because we can't answer. The entire video actually took over 30 minutes, just the recording part. And the next video we're going to talk about, or we're going to do a review of the 007 bike, which is the Triumph Scrambler 1200 which we have. And we have few amazing, let me reach out, goodies. This is not a giveaway. These are goodies from
Italy.
yeah, for us. We've purchased them from a company called Duca Bike, and these go on the Panigale. And what are these? We'll make a separate video, and trust me, we are very excited to see the final outcome of how these look on the machine.
And to be honest, we actually ordered these even before getting the bike.
Yeah, we didn't want to, we were waiting for somebody to come and get it to us, so it took a very long time for this to come. Finally, it's in our hands, and hopefully really soon this will be on the bike. We're itching towards it. So in the next video, it's going to be about the Scrambler, and after that we'll show you what this is. Until then, this box is going back into the stack there. I'll see you in the next one. Love you guys. Till the next time, bye.